Oh snaps! Oh man, I forgot to mention in our Jujutsu
Mm-hmm.
Kaisen episode. Um, but you know how we talked about it, like being
Uh-huh.
bleach-like and stuff. So I want to say this is one of the ones where the creator like was bleached then.
Ah, yeah.
So that's why like we you see some
That
aspects of like
that I
bleach
mean,
in there.
it makes a whole lot of sense. You're like it's got a similar, not well, I mean a little bit. It's got some similarities. It's got a lot of similarities to Bleach. And yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, isn't there, yeah.
yeah, because the creator was a fan of Tite Kubo, who's the creator of Bleach, and so I think he took like a lot of like some aspects of it and incorporated it into like his own story writing and
Yeah,
styling and
yeah.
stuff.
You could definitely feel that. And good on him because the show is, I mean, it's big enough to like do a movie and big enough to do I mean, merch. I find merch everywhere and people I see all kinds
Oh,
of stuff about it. Yeah.
so much merch. All Hot Topics filled
So
with it.
much.
Hot
Yeah,
Topic and
people are getting
Spencer's.
those face tattoos. I mean, I might
Oh,
get those face
dude.
tattoos, bro.
I could never get a tattoo
Nah,
after
right? That's too
those.
much, bro. I mean,
That's
what
too
am I, some
much.
sort of doodle bear? I don't think so. Yeah, hey, people don't know what doodle bears are, bro, but
Oh, no, what was that?
no,
Early
that's gotta be like the
2000?
90s, bro. You had it,
Nah.
you would get a teddy
Was it the
bear,
90s?
and then you had like a marker with it, and you could just draw.
I just
Y-
remember the commercials. That's all I remember other
Yeah, I was like, hey, I want
commercials.
that.
It's a doodle bear. It was the little
Uh-huh,
paintbrush
uh-huh, yeah,
with that you could do the whole multicolor
dude.
thing. Oh my gosh, the infomercials were
Is there,
king back
do
then.
infomercials exist anymore? I don't watch regular TV, so.
Uh, I think they turned into YouTube
Dude,
shorts and the
yeah, I
Facebook
mean, someone's
videos.
selling these freaking Stanley Cups. I mean, I don't know how they're buying them, but TikTok's got them. You
Oh,
know,
they got
what's
'em.
his name? The guy who sold OxyClean. That guy,
Oh
he'd be
yeah,
making a killing if he was still alive on TikTok, bro.
dude.
Oh, wait, is that
Oh,
Billy
killing it all
Mays?
day.
That's right,
Billy
Billy
Mays.
Mays here.
He'd
Yeah,
be murdering
here to talk to you
it.
about a double insulated wall cup. Yeah.
Dude, I don't understand like how he did not get any more gigs from that. I guess OxyClean had
Yeah,
a
I mean that
franchise on
he
him, and
cleaned
it's
up.
like, hey, you're us. They made the contract with them. They're like, hey, we'll get you one. Oh, now you
Yeah, yeah.
signed a
You
blood
know what? Go
contract
ahead and
with
here,
us.
bite my arm, and then that'll be our blood contract. And old Billy Mays was like, okay, okay.
Okay, all right. FLCL
FLCL.
Furi Curry. All right, here we go. In three, two, and one. Hey guys, thank you for joining us here on Anime Me Podcast. It's me, Joe Angel, and my co-host Sal, and we are here to bring you some
When
more
you say my
anime.
name, Joe Angel, nobody can see this, but I always put my two fingers up and I go peace. In my head, I'm doing the two like peace thing. You know what I'm saying? But eventually, I'm gonna start doing that. Yeah,
You're doing the duck face,
yeah.
the
Once I
classic duck
become like a
face.
weeb, a full-on weeb, I'm gonna do that. What's the little like? What do they call it? It's like the little hearts that the Japanese. Yeah, finger
Oh, the
hearts. Is
finger
it just
hearts.
finger hearts? I'm gonna start doing that. But
Yeah,
just imagine it in your head, like whenever you say me and
imagine it in
Sal, and
your
then
head. Imagine Sal doing finger hearts to you when you
whenever you
hear
say my name, I just go like this. Look at me. I'm doing it. All right, cool, cool, cool.
Oh, well, speaking of hearts, man, I got a heart for this one. This is one that I
You know what?
love
You can just
so
talk
much.
about this, and you could just copy and paste me going, what? What? What?
What?
What?
Uh-huh. Okay, just
Just
have a little soundboard.
no, 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 no,
Oh,
no.
really?
Just
What?
just a confused what for me. Like, what is happening? and then just
What?
insert what
Yeah.
is happening, and then Joe Angel, you say something, I go, what is happening? That's all I wrote down. I wrote in all caps, what is happening?
Oh, well, the one we are talking about today is called FLCL,
Cooley.
Fully
Okay, so that's
Cooley.
not the episode name. That's like what the show is. FLCL is shortened from for Fooly Cooley. Okay.
Fully Cooley.
They
Yeah,
or the way
Fully Cooley.
they pronounce it in the dub version. Because yes, I'm listening in dub. Get over it. They say Fooly Cooley. Okay.
Fully
All right.
Cooley. Yeah.
Let me give us a synopsis because this show, if you already have you if you haven't heard it in my tone, this is I'm gonna say it like probably 5 or 6 times during this podcast. This is the most anime show we've ever watched. This is the most anime show I've ever seen in my life, and I don't have a whole lot of experience. Okay, here we go. How do we say his name? Nayota? Nauta?
Nauta.
Nata's older
Nauta.
brother went to the US to play baseball, and his brother's girlfriend is making advances on him. There's a so-called alien girl hitting on him with a guitar. We mention that there's robots and they keep springing up from nowhere? I don't know. Like, there's like we open up and they're looking off into the distance and there's this big or no we open up and there's this Nauta's is like kind of doing like a little over he's narrating. Oh,
It's
my Mimi's
my
doing
Mimi.
and she's just kind of like
Yeah, we because it opens up
yeah
on
yeah
like
yeah
a bridge, and it's just like a think of like a camcorder when somebody
mm-hmm
turns the camcorder on. They're like at like think of a day at the park family, like they're
mm-hmm
just looking around,
mm-hmm
showing a bridge. You're getting the overtone. My Mimi's quoting. So the actual quote is a play on a quote from a boxer. I
mm-hmm.
wrote so many notes down. I'm not gonna attempt to look for it. But it's a quote from a boxer, but the way the writer and the director
Uh-huh.
kind of scripted it is her talking about baseball because baseball is going to be a big thing in the
Yeah.
background of this anime. And he's talking about being right-handed and left-handed, southpaw and stuff
Mm.
like that. And we get that. And then Nauta's like, we zoom into my
Uh-huh.
Mimi and Nauta, right there
Mommy
by the river, and
is the girl.
is the
It's
girl.
his older brother's girlfriend who is still with them there, but
Yeah,
her boyfriend, his brother, is in America playing baseball.
yeah. I would put boyfriend girlfriend in
Well,
quotes.
obviously because she's like
Quote.
she's talking and kind of doing this narration thing and talking about like baseball, and then she like fully cooly this guy.
Yeah.
She starts rubbing up on him, and I'm like, "What's happening?"
Start making some
But
questionable moves on
they
it.
don't explain who they are initially, though, either. Because I'm like, they're kind of like just kind of around, and I go, "Oh, please, they better not be brother and sister, because what they're doing is inappropriate, and whatever they're doing still is inappropriate because that's the brother of your boyfriend in quotes." And then we pan up and we see a big hot iron. There's a big iron and it looks like a spaceship and it's in the town. They're like, nothing ever happens in this town. It's boring. And I'm like, you're
Yeah.
lying. Okay. you, you're a bunch of
Lions.
liars. Joe Angel, this
Oh
show
man.
is, I said this about Chainsaw Man. This show is probably the most anime show that's ever been animated. Because it's like, and once again, Joe Angel, the whole like anime self-talk and the whole like exposition, none of that.
Exposition.
I'm, and you know what?
Nothing.
You got me, okay? I'm begging for it. Give me some exposition. Give me something.
So real quick,
Okay, give me some
story
story.
time. So imagine if
Hmm.
imagine if you will. So this came out. So it came out in Japan in April of
Oh my
2000,
gosh.
and then it aired in America on Adult Swim in August of 2003.
Okay. It came out in 2000 and it comes,
Came out in 2000 in Japan, and then when it took 3 years for it to get dubbed, and it aired on Adult Swim in August of
dude,
2003. So
that's,
2003.
oh,
Where were you back? I know
okay.
where I was in school. I was let's see, 2003. I think I was in
Hmm.
middle school.
I'm not gonna say where I was, but let's just say some of you guys weren't even born yet. and I was a grown man.
Yeah.
I had a full-time
It's
job.
grown man.
But that was a long time ago. Dude, this is
Yeah.
we're living in the future right now.
Yeah.
This is 21 years ago.
Oh yeah. Oh,
See
dude,
here,
so
I'm
long ago. But yeah, so imagine if you will. I'm up late,
uh-huh.
of course, watching Toonami, watching Adult Swim, of course, because they got Dragon Ball Z showing, they got
Uh-huh.
Bleach
Uh-huh.
showing, they got some of my favorite shows showing, and then out of
This
nowhere,
show.
the opening scene you just described
What?
just starts playing, and I'm just like, wait, what did I just
Yeah.
watch? And I'm like sitting, I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
captivated by it, the whole show. Like I'm just like, oh my gosh! And then it ends. I'm just like, that
Mm-hmm.
was
Mm-hmm.
crazy. And so the way Adult Swim used to work is up until I would say from I think it was from like 9:30, 10 o'clock to
Mm-hmm.
around midnight. It had a slot of shows, and then it would kind of reset and start over again from those slot of shows up until like 4
Uh-huh.
4:30 in the morning, where it will start showing the regular Cartoon
Yeah.
Network
Yeah.
stuff. But since I knew that, I like checked the
Uh-huh.
TV guide, make sure, is it showing again? Yes, it's showing again. Cool. I popped in, so I had a
Oh,
VCR,
snap.
uh, old school VCR
Yo.
guy, and I had some blank tapes. I was like, you know what? Once this, I'm gonna stay up till
Uh-huh.
4
Uh-huh.
in the morning. So when this comes back on, I can
Bro.
record it. And then I'll tell you, as soon as it hit, I pushed that blank tape in and I hit record. I recorded when this originally aired.
Oh
So
wait, Joe
real
Angel,
quick,
you're recording over, your mom's wedding. You're recording over you,
I'm
you,
recording over every important family event. Sorry, you gotta go. You gotta
my first birthday,
go.
gone. My
My
first
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 birthday,
couple
God,
steps, gone. My first home run in baseball, gone. I'm
God.
watching Cooley. I'm recording.
Fully.
I am fully invested.
So there's only
Uh-huh.
6 episodes. Only 6 episodes. So I recorded back in the day. All I had was the VCR and blank tapes, and I recorded
It
all
was the only
six
way. It
episodes.
was the only way.
It was the only way to do. That was the only way to do it. This is before you can screen cap.
You
This is
could
before we
no streaming
had
services.
you had your. This is
You
before
couldn't
iPhones, guys. We didn't
Nope.
have iPhones then.
You couldn't stream this anywhere.
Nothing. This is when Netflix was still sending out DVDs in the mail.
They were sending physical shows and movies. Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Physical shows.
Dude, this is crazy. I mean, yeah, you were so young and to watch this
Yeah.
at that age, like even now, like I watch it, I'm an old man now and I'm watching this and I'm going, "What are they saying? Who's that?" But even as a kid, I'd have been like, "What is going on, dude?" Like there was so many things that happened in the show that I was just kind of I'm scratching my head right now. I'm still like, "What was that part all about?" Like,
Still processing.
because there's a part in there they have like they have this battle and there's a slow motion montage part of it and then they like cut to some characters. They're like, man, this slow motion really takes it out of you, and I'm like, who,
Yeah.
what is happening? Like, who are these people talking about this slow motion part while I'm watching it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so this was so we go through, we get that was when this is when we get introduced into one of our main characters,
Haruka, yeah.
Haruko, who rides a
Mm-hmm.
Vespa
A guitar.
and has a
Oh, dude.
Rickenbacker bass. Yeah,
Dude. By the way,
Rickenbacker
it starts
bass.
open like we have that little scene, and there's a weird, like,
Yeah.
there's a weird touching, some touching that's happening, and then we bust into
Yeah.
the credits, and dude, slapping the bass. It's like boom, boom, boom,
The
boom, 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 boom,
bass.
boom, boom. I was
God.
like, I see why
Yeah.
Joe Angel loves this. But for you guys that don't know out there, Joe Angel, he be slapping the bass. All
I
right,
be
go on, go
slapping
on.
that bass. But yeah, so that's when Haruko shows up and just hits him with her
Mm-hmm.
Vespa, and then he goes into the whole. She thinks
Mm-hmm.
she kills him, and then he hits her with the bass, and Mami's in the background is just like, "What are you doing? What's
Yes.
going on?" She's just standing there, bystander, confused, like all of us right now because we had no idea what's going on.
Yep.
She's the
Yep.
audience, and you have Haruko reveal, take off her helmet
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, glasses,
Of course.
beautiful face, slow mo, says she's gonna bring it back to life with CPR. Goes to like do the whole CPR style,
Uh-huh.
which means
Uh-huh.
kissing.
Yep.
You gotta
Yep.
touch the lip. And then they do this whole slow motion 3DS kind of
Yeah.
turnaround. And that's when they cut to like a trailer where it's Haruko, Mamimi, and Naota. They're like, it's like them actors, like they're actors in the
Yes.
show, and it cuts to
Oh
them
wait.
talking about
Y-
like the scene that we just watched, like, oh yeah, that was really hard. We had to do it and stuff. And now the boss was like, wait, y'all had to do that? I thought they just CGI'd
Yes.
that.
And I was like, wait, what is yeah, they're in their trailer like watching this back with us.
Think of it how Toy Story, like the old Pixar Disney movies, used to have
Hmm.
the outtakes at the end of the movies.
Yes.
Think of something
Yeah, it
like
was
that.
like that. Yeah. Oh, dude, I was just like, some of the weird choices that were made in this kind of thing was just like, it's so obscure. I'm wondering, let's see here, the gorillas. Remember the gorillas? I
Yeah,
got a lot of like that kind of feel of this. Like there's two guys, I forget their names, but one of the guys is like an animator, illustrator, and the other guy's like a musician, and they form this kind of band thing, and they're doing like both music and animation, and they create these characters and that's the band. And I'm like, this seems because it looks kind of classic. This whole anime looks older. I don't know when this came out. I didn't know when this came out. But as I'm watching it, I'm like, this has like that kind of feel. It has this kind of like early 2000s. I don't know when Garden State came out, but it has some.
it's
Yeah,
very
it
of its
is, but
time.
in a good way. Like there's some sort of like warmness to the animation and drawing and stuff. But gosh, it is it weird, dude. It's so like it's like it's like quiet too. Like quiet weird there's not any interstitial. There's very little like music in the background, and even
Yeah,
like the sound effects and things that are going on, it sounds like it's in the background. I'm wearing my headphones while I'm watching this, by the way. And I'm like everything seems I don't know, I'll give it this. The sound design is weird. Like it just doesn't sound. It
oh
doesn't.
yeah,
You know what I'm talking about though. Like this, the sound design sounds weird.
dude. The way the whenever she like did the whole wiping, the little like exo marker board
Yeah, yeah,
wiping
yeah,
sound they
yeah.
used.
I'm like, what is this? Dude? It's like awkwardly silent. This show is, like there's some like some awkward moments that happen, and they're quiet for a long time, and there's no background sounds, and it sounds really lo-fi. It also looks like drawn kind of lo-fi a little bit.
Yeah, it has that lo-fi
But
feel to
then,
it.
so he has this big bump on his head. I don't know what is happening.
Yeah,
Though he
the
has this
horn.
horn, this alien chick, maybe, I don't know, is how to like an alien of some sort. I don't know. She like treats him, puts a little like a thing over his head, like a band-aid, because
He puts a band-aid over his because like he goes through he's at home
mm-hmm,
now after this
mm-hmm,
whole fiasco and he's like trying to figure out what to do with this horn. And he's all like, I guess I gotta hold it.
uh-huh,
He's like, but wait, I gotta go to school tomorrow. How am I gonna do this? So we cut to him at school.
uh-huh.
He's got a band-aid on his forehead. And we have a
And they're
classmates.
all like, "What's happening?"
They're
Mm-hmm,
talking. The girl's like, hey, what's up with that band-aid? What's behind it? They're talking about this
uh-huh.
Vespa woman who apparently if you get hit by her, it means you done perverted stuff
Oh
or
yeah,
something
and
like
that's what the name.
that. Like how rumors would go through in a school of something that has didn't actually happen, but they're talking about it like it
What they start
happened.
talking about
And like
Fooly
it's a whole like
That's
yeah.
that's when they bring it in, and they're like, "Oh, like Fooly Cooly," and they were like, "Oh wait, no, did they talk about it, or was that no, no,
No,
that
no, no,
was when
they
they
don't talk about it. They talk
yeah, that's at
so
home, that's
that's
at
at
home.
home when
Okay,
they talk
okay,
about
so
it.
I'm
That's
so
later.
confused about this show.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, they talk about it. So they're at school and she points out like, so what's behind the band-aid? And then the kid in the glasses, just like he's
Hmm.
hilarious this whole series, man.
Okay.
Like the way they have him, the stuff they have him do, but he's just calling him a pervert because he got hit
It,
by Haruko, like that's the
oh
mark of
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
demon. Like all of this just crazy stuff. He's spouting
yeah,
all
yeah.
these
Just
rumors.
making up stuff.
Yeah. And then we go Nata's at home.
Okay, and this is where it's
He's talking to like
crazy. So, because
Muggy. Yeah, dude, this is where one of my favorite things ever done in
dude,
anime happens.
I'm like, this is again, once again, I go, what am I watching again? Because, like, this is the first 15 minutes of the show. There's not one
Yeah,
adult around, by the way. Sometimes there's hardly any like background to some of the drawings, it's just them and like maybe like a road and then like nothing else. And it's just very like it's very simple in its execution and some of its drawings and stuff. And then every now and then you have like a full landscape, but then sometimes you don't. And then like so then 15 minutes go by and he gets home and it just the whole style changes. Now we're watching.
yeah. But before that, because he goes to the
Okay, that's
hospital
right. That's
before
right.
that. Because like she pulls up on him at waiting at the
Okay, yeah,
train
that's right.
tracks, and she's like telling him stuff, and he's just like runs away. He goes to the hospital, and she's looking at an X-ray, and it's like it it's some type of syndrome that the
Oh
nurse
yeah,
is
yeah.
telling him, and he's all like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's where kids sprout
And he's like,
horn
"That's
from
a
their
lie."
heads for lying or something like that." And he's like, "That's a lie right there." But it turns
Mm-hmm.
out to be Haruko, and she's like trying to smash him in the head with the
Mm-hmm.
vase
Mm-hmm.
again. And then they have like you see the doctor and the nurse just tied up
Yeah,
like
she's like a weirdo. She's like,
yeah, and then get the whole like the way they like kind of cart Looney Tune the hospital
yeah.
building in this scene.
Dude, I mean,
Dude,
the style is all
hilarious.
over the place on this show. Like, it is, there was also a time when, what was it, on, MTV, they had some, like, animated shows. And do you remember
Oh
those? Like, it was
yeah,
Ultraviolet? I think it was
yeah.
Ultraviolet.
Ultraviolet
And,
was there. What
this
else
is
was
what
on
this kind of,
MTV? Was Daria on
Daria, yeah,
MTV?
Daria. And
Yeah,
Beavis and Butthead.
yeah. Beavis and Butthead
This show
classic.
kind of reminded me of like Ultraviolet, like the kind of
Yeah,
weird, quiet, but like action-packed and like craziness going on. This had that same kind of a feel to it. Okay, so we get home and then dude, it
yeah. We get
changes
home.
into this like this manga. He has a conversation with the first adults that we've seen, and it's just like moving from frame
Yeah,
to frame, and it's just their dialogue,
I
and
love
they're
it
yelling
so
at each
much,
other.
man.
Then they start talking about Fooly Cooley and what that
This,
means.
yeah,
And it's like, is he there? It's like his dad and his grandpa, maybe.
yeah. It's his dad, his
And of
grandpa, and
course,
Haruko. They're
this
all
must
there.
be
Yeah.
like, you gotta tell me because I don't know the anime thing, but the old man, and I think we've experienced it once before, but he's a straight up pervert. And they're like talking about nasty stuff, and the old grandpa's like, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, yeah, because his dad's like hitting on Haruko. He's like, "Hey, so what? He's doing the whole Joey
Yeah,
from
so how
Friends.
you
He's
doing?
trying to like,
Yeah,
how you do it?" And he's like talking about Fooly
what
Cooly
it
and like
is.
explaining kind of it. What does it mean? His grandpa's kind of like in the background showing her with his hands, like the movements and
Yes.
stuff of it.
And he's like, the poor
And
little
yeah,
Naoto's like, I don't know what any of this is. I'm barely in like,
yeah, he's just there, like,
yeah,
what's
what are you?
going on? So lost.
Yeah, what are y'all talking about? But like the whole time, it's just like they're just almost just moving. It's like they pulled it right out of the manga, and the camera is just we're just like
Yeah,
given the frames, and they're just like having the dialogue, frame, 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 photo, black and white, all black and white
yeah.
photos moving around, and just like that's the whole interaction.
Yeah, the way they shot it, the way they're like
Hmm.
moving it, they're having animation within the
Yeah.
panels too as well, like with him moving, with the
Hmm.
speed lines
Yeah.
moving in the background. Like this whole scene of them just talking is I love
Like
it so much.
the year 2003 or 2000, really, honestly, it seems so
Yeah,
like progressive in its like execution and all that kind of stuff, where they're taking liberties, where some
yeah,
animes, I mean, with some shows, I mean, it definitely shows when we were watching in 2003 wasn't doing this kind of stuff. Like they weren't
no,
taking big swings like this. And I mean, it does pay off.
yeah, that's
It's wild. It's really wild. I'm like watching this going like this is the most once again, chalk it up again. This is the most anime thing I've ever seen. And the part okay, so then later on, this bump comes out of his head again because the band-aid gets knocked off, and then a huge mech robot comes out of his head. What?
yeah.
What is happening? And then
Dude,
he has
that's
to fight.
funny.
He fights this mech robot is attached to him or is holding on to him, and then that mech robot is fighting
Yeah.
against a hand, and then
A
Mamimi
giant
shows up,
hand
and then
robot.
she's like, dude, it is
Yeah,
this
that
show
whole
is
scene right
all
there. Oh my
over
gosh.
the place. It's crazy.
Because we get to that scene, he Naoto running so we get the sense like during this whole scene afterwards, before we get to the bridge scene with the robot fights, we find out that the house they live in is doubles as a bakery, which
Yeah,
is
that's
the
right.
family bakery
Hmm.
that his
Hmm.
dad runs. And so my Mimi has showed up, got some
Hmm.
day-old bread there, and because his dad was talking to him, and he pulled out the pictures that my Mimi had taken from when
Yeah.
Naoto got ran
Hmm.
over by
Hmm.
Article. And Naoto's just like, oh, she was here and stuff like that. So he goes chasing off after her, catches up to her at the bridge, finds her, and they're just having like a little simple conversation about like his brother, like he's asking her like, hey, has he called you, has he
Yeah, yeah.
contacted you at all? And he's asking her like, how much do you like him and stuff like that.
And
Like those kind, just those questions that you would
yeah,
ask anybody, like, hey, have you
just
heard from this
regular old
person? Like, you like,
conversation.
yeah, regular conversation. And she pulls out a cigarette, so we have him there
Yeah, and
smoking.
what does it say on there? It says something on there like
It says never
never
knows
knows
best.
best. You know, some of the
Yeah,
stuff she like, I think the cigarette falls out of her mouth and it's like trickles down and stuff, and it has
yeah,
this like once again like the kind of artsy take on a lot of these scenes, like
yeah.
so of its time.
Yeah, like that was like very like art, like some of the scenes in this show
Yeah,
like
they're very
very
artistic.
artistic, like with the backgrounds, with like how they like zoom
Hmm,
in on some
hmm,
stuff, how they like focus on things. Like it's all very
hmm.
artistically done. But then like we get her
She says
again,
it earlier.
hugging up on him
The first
again.
time we see her, when she starts hugging up on him, she says something about like I'm gonna like explode, or I'm gonna like,
Yeah, she's
yeah,
talking
I'm
about
gonna overflow or
overflowing
something
and
like,
explode.
and he's like, what are
It's
you
like
talking
wait,
about?
what?
And she faints. She
Yeah,
does it again, but this time she like knocks
yeah.
out. She faints because
Oh yeah, because that's like he tells her like he has an American
uh
girlfriend because he's about to say it, but it cuts back to Haruko at their house in their room, like doing this whole like
oh
crazy
yes,
thing of like, oh, I gotta respect your brother's privacy. She's opening up a letter he sent her, and you see a bottom of a picture. We don't see his face, but we see him hugging a girl who's basically that's his
she's
American
snooping.
girlfriend he
She's
has.
snooping.
That's when like
Yeah.
she can't take it. Like then we cut back to the bridge with Nata and Mamimi, and she's just like it's too much for her. Like she's like too much stimulation, too much. She probably has high anxiety, probably has
Something's
something
going on.
going on with her. Yeah, so she like passes out, and Nata's just like, oh, what's going on? But it triggers in him. His head starts going off crazy, and then we get this hard power chord
Yeah.
guitar coming in. Things are
Wait,
about to
so
go
like,
wild.
is she okay? Haruko jumps on her bike and like starts, or
Yeah.
her little Vespa scooter thing, and like is dashing. Which, by the way, that looks so cool. Like the way they kind of like when
Oh, dude.
it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy because they go through these kind of different styles of animation and illustration, and when they get to this point and they start moving and stuff, it's like, oh, this is Akira. Like this is like
Oh, dude.
yeah,
So
the
Akira.
illustration and all that looks super cool and crisp, and I'm like, okay, we're getting to some action sequences that are about to like it's about to go down, and I'm like, is she like I thought it felt like she sensed something like was happening.
It was her
Yeah,
bracelet.
her bracelet
If you look, you see
goes
her
off.
bracelet. It's
Okay. N-
like an indicator. Like it's like, hey, stuff's going on. It's like the compass from Pirates of the Caribbean,
yeah.
where it's
So
pointing to what you
yeah,
want
yeah,
the most.
or yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, or either Davy Jones's locker is like thumping in the ocean,
yeah,
kind of calling to you. Okay,
yeah,
dude.
yeah. So she got that from Jack Sparrow.
And she
So
got that Jack Sparrow. Hmm, hmm.
so we go back in the bridge, and the robots come out, and it's just some good
Uh-huh,
rock and roll
uh-huh.
music going off in the background. Get the awesome robot fight scene. Haruko shows up and proceeds to double jump in the air, power up and attack, bust the robot in the head. And that whole scene is just like slow mo. The cuts to his face, her
Uh-huh.
face, robot, and when she hits him, it's like the final riff of the song because it's just like you hit the power chord and let it ring out, boom,
Game over.
and then
Yeah.
game over.
Boss defeated
Boss
and
defeated.
also is taken home. It was like
Yeah, they
take
should
him
take
home
him
to the
to the
house
house
and now he's like a house robot. Yeah, yeah,
making
he's
bread.
part of the
His dad's
yeah,
teaching him
I'm
how to make
like,
bread.
dude, this show, I don't know. I don't know what to make of this show, dude. Like, once again, you did this thing where like you gave me a show with there's very little self-talk, there's very little exposition, and I'm really just watching this like it's just
Yeah,
happening to me. That's what it was. I was just kind of like sitting there like watching like this show is just
yeah.
happening to me. I'm not even watching this. It's watching me. I don't know what's happening.
So really, the essence of it is a coming of
Hmm.
age story. It boy meets girl type of situation because, like I said earlier, it's only 6 episodes long, and it just goes through now to dealing with my Mimi,
Hmm.
dealing with Haruko, dealing with all these situations. Like he's
Yeah.
growing up. It's basically him like becoming an adult, like going through that
The awkward
stage
stage.
from
Yeah.
becoming a kid to the teenager to the adult. Like he's starting that phase of his life now where he's becoming older, so he's starting to notice things more and he's starting to like recognize certain situations. And it's going through in a way, the way they scripted it, it's just like it's a coming of age story through
Okay,
craziness. Because that's how it feels whenever you're like a kid becoming a teenager,
bro.
becoming an adult. It just feels like things are just going crazy around you. You have no idea what's going on most of the
Joe Angel, is this
time.
safe to say this show brought you through puberty? Is this what we're saying? Like this is exactly how
This show brought me
you are
through
now a man.
puberty. It got me where I am
Like
today.
this is what your childhood was.
This
Yeah,
show made me a man.
it definitely. This show made me a man. Yeah, this I can see how like if I were your age and I was watching this late at night and this just like came on, I get why you would stay up and just like record every one of them. Like I gotta see these. This is what is happening.
Tell you, it's so good. Like it get the other episodes, they get better. Like they'll get more into explanation about who Haruko
Okay.
is, why she's
What's
there, what's going on with the
what's the iron
robots.
doing up in there,
Like they,
you know?
yeah, iron in the background, like that gets
That's a
explained.
spaceship or something, I don't know.
Yeah. And this is a original, this is an OVA, an original video animation.
Original video animation?
Yeah,
Wait,
an
I
OVA.
don't give it to me. Explain more of what this what that means.
So basically, that's just like a think of like a short story, a project. It has kind of they like some animes will have
Hmm.
their own OVAs, which is kind of like a think of like a straight to DVD. How we had in America
Okay.
was straight to DVD. OVAs were kind of like straight to like television to promote it, just to get it to
Almost
television stuff like that. No real theaters.
not a demo. What am I thinking? Where it's the first episode and they don't know if it's going to get picked up or not.
Pilot,
Pilot. Is it like a pilot?
yeah,
Okay.
pilot.
Okay, go on. Uh,
kind of uh,
uh,
but it was just its
mhm.
own thing. And so this was directed by Kazuya
Mhm.
Tsurumaki, and it was written with Yoji Inokito. So Tsurumaki was the director and Inokito was the writer writing the script. So side note, second story time,
Okay, give it
second
to me.
story
Give it
time.
stuff.
So this is after I graduated, so this is around 2010,
Okay.
2011, just to help y'all close in on my age. I'm in San Antonio, Texas during the
Oh.
summer. My parents wanted to go to Tejano Fest, so we went to San Antonio on a family trip. I'm at I think a mall or shopping center. I'm somewhere downtown walking. I'm walking to this anime shop and I'm just browsing around seeing what they have and stuff. And I'm looking through the cases and seeing what animes they got. And I see they have a complete DVD set of Fooly
Oh,
Cooly.
snap.
And next to it was another anime we'll get to
Uh-oh.
later in this series that I loved. So I like literally as soon as I saw both of those, I turned around, told the guy, "Give me these. Here's my money. Just give me these."
Take
I just handed him. I gave him my wallet. Here's my wallet. Give me these two DVDs right
mail whatever you don't
now.
need back to this to my address.
No,
Take everything out of
yeah,
there.
take everything out of it. So I got them both. And then I was like so excited to
To this point,
get
though,
home
had you
to watch
watched all
these.
of it? Like you said, you stayed up and recorded it.
Yeah, I
Okay,
had watched
okay.
all of it. I had remembered it in my head. Like I knew what it was, knew what it was about. Attachment to that story. After I leave that place, I'm like walking downtown back to the hotel, and my name's
No,
not a common
no,
name. I've only heard my name maybe twice, and those guys spelled
they
it way
spelt it
differently
wrong,
than I did.
Joe Angel. Okay,
They
go on.
spelled it wrong. And I hear my name being yelled at. So I'm like turning around, I'm looking, I'm like, there's no way anybody I know, because my family's somewhere else. Like I'm by myself walking around downtown. I'm like, there's no way anybody. So I'm looking around, like, who is calling my name? I look across the street. It is my coach and his wife are across the street waving at
What?
me, just
Oh, that's right.
randomly on the middle of summer Texas in San Antonio. I'm like, what's going on? So I walk across the street, talk to them. They're like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm on vacation with my family. What are y'all doing? Like, oh yeah, we're on vacation too. We just wanted to come down. Just like, oh, in my head, I was like, this is so weird and
For
random.
those of you that don't know and who are listening, Joe Angel is part of the Friday Night Lights movie. Go on, Joe Angel.
I am part of the Friday Night Lights
The story,
movie.
bro.
And so, but yeah, so I get back, I watch it and I watch the DVD set, in love with it. The next day, I go to Books a Million and I find, so there's a manga 2 version of this. And so they made the anime came out, which is an original
Hmm.
story. and it came out alongside a
Hmm.
manga version and a novel version of it, which they're both just adaptations of the
Okay,
anime
okay. Let's
themselves,
back me
but
up here.
differently.
Okay,
Yeah,
so when you said it's over, like somebody wrote this,
yeah,
animated it, drew it, did it all the thing, and then they did the
yeah,
manga. Because usually we go, somebody wrote the manga,
yeah,
then let's make an animation out of it, an anime.
yeah.
So this is the other way around. That's what you mean by
Yeah.
over? Like this is like
Yeah.
originally.
This one kind of is the other way around. Yeah, release wise, it seems like the manga came out first because the manga came out in '99 while the anime
Uh-huh.
came out in 2000. But when I watched the director commentary on the DVD set, the director had mentioned that the whole production of it took about 2 years. So from the very first when the
Mm-hmm.
idea came about it to the very last episode, that whole time frame it took them 2 years to complete the whole thing.
So
So
originally.
they already had it set before they were finished animating it, so they went ahead and did the manga because the manga does follow the script of the anime. It just has some moments that are different that they changed up in the
Okay.
manga. And so,
Interesting.
kind of like almost they changed up a little thing here and there for the manga. Same thing with the novel. The novel kind of followed the story and the elements of the
Mm-hmm.
anime because the novel was also written by the writer for the anime,
Mm-hmm.
Inokido, and it has some illustrations done by Tsurumaki, who is a director, and Hiroki Imashi. So they both did illustrations for the novel, while Inokido, who's writer for the anime, also wrote the novel. And then the manga was an adaptation by the manga artist Hajime Ueda. So they followed the script but changed some stuff here and there. So the anime kind of was released. They all kind of released alongside each other
Crazy,
almost
dude.
when everything came out. But so the music is what I loved about
Yeah.
this one.
Oh, hey,
So a
G-
key element.
let me. Hey, can I do it before you get to
Yeah,
that? I have a retraction.
go,
Just now, like in the
go
middle
ahead.
of the show. You don't have to come back. I was mistaken. No, yeah,
Character
I
development.
no, I was mistaken when we were talking about the opening. It was Chainsaw Man that had that slapping bass, like boom, 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 boom. Not on
Oh yeah,
this,
yeah,
not on
Chainsaw
this. It
Man.
was in
Yeah,
Chainsaw Man. That's how
no.
confused I was by this show because I'm like, what was what was this show and what was any show? Because now I'm confused at what show, what belonged to what.
What happened in
Yeah,
what?
dude, honestly, it
Yeah.
was crazy. Okay, go on. Anyway, the music.
All right, so music. So the director, a key element about this show and why it was so like random and weird and stuff like that. The director added a bunch of stuff that he loved. He made in this anime, like he added to it.
Uh-huh.
The robots,
Uh-huh.
the music, a bunch of like how there's a lot of you'll see a lot of cats and stuff.
Yeah.
You'll see a lot of different random stuff like robots and manga
Uh-huh.
mechas and stuff like that. All those stuff were stuff that the director liked and he wanted to add it into it, so they added into it. And he would like because he talked to the writer, Keto. He's like, "Hey, I want to put robots in it," and Keto was at first was like, "How? Like, I don't think we need to add robots." He's like, "But I want robots. Like,
That's
let's find a way to add robots in there." Because Kita himself, during the director commentary, he was mentioning like during
uh-huh.
the writing process, stuff like that. Like Kita like put in a lot of like sexual jokes and
Yeah.
innuendos
Yeah.
through the show because he thought it was funny. And so like it's like a lot of the staff and creation of it, like the director and the writer, put in stuff they loved, which was made this like anime so like unique. Because a lot of stuff is just stuff that was loved by the director and the writer and the
Dude, that makes
animator.
so much sense
Yeah,
because yeah, like it just feels like it's just kind of like some of this stuff is just shoved into it. Like in a good way. Like I'm like, what in the world?
yeah,
Like you if you would it seemed like somebody just thought about it
yeah,
and they were like, yeah, just go ahead and do that. Like, yeah, oh, you know what? Make it crazier.
yeah.
Like
Yeah. Well, that was one of the main things too that the director wanted to do. Like he didn't want to follow like the
hmm
conventional formula of of anime. Like he wanted it to be kind of silly, kind of like
wild.
just here and there. Like he wanted to like break the
Yeah.
rules almost of conventional anime with this show. And so with the music, like, and that was where the music comes in because he didn't want to like have like written music like normally you would for anime. So he had a band that he loved called the
Uh-huh.
Pillows, and he had asked them, "Hey guys, I want to use." He had a song in mind called "One Life" that was by the Pillows, and he asked them like, "Hey, I want to use this. I want to use your music for this anime." And you could find an interview with them with the Pillows themselves about FLCL, and he talked about where they were first approached by Tsurumaki about providing music for the anime and the song that he requested, and the band was all like, they really weren't into that, like the world
Mm.
of anime and stuff, or doing stuff like that, because for them, like the lead writer and singer, he was talking about the way we write music and stuff like that is like the way we pictured our band is just we write music, make an album, do a tour, and repeat it because that's what
It's
rock and
not
roll is to
cartoons,
us.
bro.
We never really
It's
thought
not
about,
cartoons.
yeah, we never really thought about doing animes or anything like that. And so they talked about like when Tsurumaki came to them asking them about using a specific song, they had given him a totally different song, which was a newer song they released called Ride on Shooting Star,
Which is the
which is
song?
the main ending song for this
Oh.
anime. And they gave him that song, and it's kind of funny watching the interview because they talked about like when he first met him and stuff that they're kind of rude to him because they're like, we really didn't want to be associated with the anime, or they really didn't care that much about it, so they just kind of like gave him that song, and whatever happened, but the director ended up loving it and using it, and he so all the songs that are used in this
Uh-huh.
anime, like all the guitar riffs and stuff like that, some of the instrumental stuff, like all those songs are done by the Pillows, except in episode 3 there's two pieces of music that were by different composers, but about 98% of the music in this anime is provided
By the
by the
band that's
band The
like,
Pillows.
I don't want to. Nah, we don't do
Yeah.
this. That's for nerds.
Yeah.
And they're
And
like, oh, this is
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and you could, like I said, you could go YouTube and watch the behind the scenes for FOCL with the band of pillows, and they talk about like when they first
Hmm.
got asked for it, how they were iffy or didn't really care about it, and then because they made 4 more seasons after this one, and whenever season 2 and 3 got announced, they were kind of like, oh man, I wonder if they're gonna ask us to come back again, because they like kind of got more of a push from the anime, like it kind of like opened them up to another like section of like fans, aka one of
Uh,
them being me, because I love the pillows now because of this
Wild,
anime.
man. Like,
Oh yeah,
so
dude.
this is
So
like,
like,
this is,
man,
this is, it's so old school
this is number 2 on my
of
list
of
right now.
like shows. Like, you just go, this show.
Whenever we go back and redo our list, this
It's
one's gonna
going
be number 2.
it being okay. So from, yeah, okay, I got you because we haven't gotten to this yet, and
Yeah,
we now we're adding it to the list, and
yeah,
now it just okay. So
yeah,
this show, how many episodes is it, and how long does it span? Because you were like, it's got 6 episodes. So did
yeah,
they did the whole
yeah,
animation or the whole anime, and it was like 6 episodes
yeah,
long, and that
and
was
that
it.
was
But
it.
then you said they did more seasons of the show.
Yeah. So when it originally came out, it aired, like I said, it came out in Japan in 2000 and came to America in
Mm-hmm.
2003. And then Adult Swim, which it aired on, actually asked about them
More.
doing,
Hmm.
more. And even the production company, it was actually produced by two of them, Gainax and Production IG and King Records. They were the group that kind of handled the original FLCL anime. And then 6 episode got it done. After that, it was just like a cult
Mm-hmm.
classic type thing. No word on the second season. And then in June of 2018 and September 2018, seasons 2 and 3 were released,
What?
because they had been asking, like I said, Adult Swim had asked about doing a season 3. The CEO of Production IG asked about doing more FLCO, because they asked the director Sudamaki, like, hey, can we want to do more? Can we do more? But Sudamaki was kind of like, just was nah. He said, I did what I wanted to do. I'm done with it. I have nothing else to give it. Like everything I wanted to do with it, I did it in the original run. So they actually had hired 2 different directors for season 2 and 3.
So how like did your mind explode? How are you still alive, Joangel? Whenever you heard like back in 2018, you were like, "Hey, we're bringing Fooly Cooley back," and you were like,
Dude, I was so excited. I'm not gonna lie, I was so excited when I heard they were coming out. So it'll be
"Mm-hmm,
FLCL Progressive and FLCL Alternative. Those were the two that
mm-hmm."
came out in 2018. And then when they released, just hearing, so there's a song, because of course they used music from
Oh,
the Pillows again for
they're still
Progressive
doing
and
it.
Alternative, and they have a song called "Thank You My Twilight."
Uh-huh.
and it starts off with like this kind of like piano part, just like a little simple line. Dude, when that kicked in, when it watched it, ah,
Did
dude,
you cry?
I
You
shed a
shed
tear,
a
man.
tear?
I cried.
Oh,
I was like, I shed a tear, man. I was like, yes, it's back. But then again, and then after that, they came in last year. They came out with two more kind of seasons.
kind of.
One called
Uh
FLCL Grunge and FLCL Shoegaze.
huh.
So these two, so FLCO Progressive, and FLCO Alternative all have 6 episodes
Oh,
each.
nice.
FLCO Grunge and FLCO Shoegaze only have 3 episodes apiece. So these ones were considerably shorter.
That is. Do they all have? Do they all have like manga or light novels or like like or are they straight ovas? Are they
Yeah.
like they have source material?
I think they're straight ovas.
That's
Yeah, because all this is just coming off of like.
somebody.
So I will say the main character that transfers over
Okay.
is Haruko.
Oh,
Haruko is like the glue running all these
so
shows together.
that's interesting because I thought that Naoto would have been our protagonist, our through line, but he's technically
Yeah.
okay. I guess there's spoilers. Don't tell me, Joe. He dies. He's dead. Okay. All right,
Nah.
all right.
So when a Progressive and Alternative got announced, like I said, Tsunamaki said he was done with it. So they brought in 2 new directors because they were like talking about, well, who else can we get and stuff like that. And he was like, well, why don't you just get somebody who hasn't seen it, or get somebody who like can put their own spin on it? Because that was his idea from the original FLCO run, is that it was kind of his kind of stuff that he wanted to do. So he like, yeah, gave him the idea of like, hey, find some directors and tell them to make it what FLCO means to them, kind of integrate with like their own personality and stuff
Joe
into
Angel,
it the
should
way
we
he
make
did,
our own?
which is
Joe
what they
Angel,
kind of did.
should we make our own?
We
I
should
will,
we should make our
like,
own.
you and I can animate and illustrate. You can make the music.
Yeah,
We'll call it
but
fully coolly heavy metal or fully
heavy metal.
coolly
But
uh grunge pop. I've got nothing. We'll think
there
about it.
is a thing going around where a bunch of fans are getting
Mhm.
together and reanimating episode 5 of the original FLCO run.
Interesting. You know what? This show is wild. It's fun, but I would like to see somebody have somebody redo the sound design because that's the only thing that like on this first episode kind of failed for me was the sound design was like I liked the music and I liked how everything, but it's like when you hear like the sound design from Chainsaw Man or the sound design from Fire Force, like all the cool like stuff that's happening in the show, it kind of fails in certain spots. Kind of, it feels kind of it's kind of like cheaply done. Like I can almost hear the sound. You know how you can
Yeah,
with the mic, somebody's like recording in their
yeah,
basement or in their like house, and you can hear the wind blowing or like the echo or something. It kind of felt like that. They were just recording
yeah,
like in someone's garage or something like that. And I'm like, you know what? This could use a little bit better sound design. But hey, it was 2003, baby. Okay, like they're doing what they
yeah. I know.
can, They was
Do
doing
what
it
they
guerrilla
can.
style. Oh, gorillas, bro. Yeah, you know what? Like the music,
Gorillas.
it makes sense that like
Yeah,
he really has the music instilled into this. The gorillas are doing their thing. There's some sort of feeling that's the same, and then they come up with these new episodes and new seasons, and they all have like music's titles and centric. I guess does that
yeah,
still kind of play a part in the whole thing? Like the music is like really heavy in these new seasons. Like it plays a big part. Is music almost a character in these new episodes and shows and stuff? It's
it's
there. It's not.
there for me. It wasn't as
Hmm.
prominent as the
Okay.
original
Okay.
run. Yeah,
Man,
but I do have another mind blowing
don't
fact for
tell
you.
me they're doing a live action. Okay.
Not a live action. No, so there's no live action for
It
this.
would be really tough.
Like,
I'm like,
yeah,
what
I
would
say
this
it would
look?
be
Yeah,
really
it's
tough to
just there's
live action
just don't do it.
this. But on our last episode, how we talked about
Okay.
Chainsaw Man, he actually drew some inspiration from FLCL.
Let me think about this. Let me think about this. Yeah. Interesting.
There's some female characters that we come across in Chainsaw Man that have similarities to Haruko and Mamimi and some of the other like
Uh-huh.
situations and
Uh-huh.
stuff. So there's like a statement or something he released where he was thanking people like, "Hey, thanks for the 30 million," because like he had reached 30 million
Hmm.
in like sales, and he was thanking everybody, all the fans and stuff like that. And he was talking about like some of his inspiration, and he kind of like referenced Chainsaw Man as like a kind of wicked, evil version of Fully Cooley almost.
Wow. So like Fully
Yeah,
Cooley is like, I mean, is it still, is it,
yeah,
it's not, it's more, it's less of a cult following and more like a, like a, like not, is it mainstream enough? Like, because I've heard of other people telling me about this show. They were like, some people were a little like cold on it. They were like, you know what? Yeah, Fully Cooley. Like, or like they said it almost in a way like, you should know what that is. Like, oh yeah, Fully Cooley.
yeah.
Like
Like,
everybody knows what this is.
how do
Yeah,
you not
right?
know
Like
that?
everybody should know
Yeah,
this. Okay,
everybody knows that.
okay. Wow, dude. This show
Yeah,
is it's wild, man. It does throw me back to some like times of like in 2003 and 2000 when things were like there were some weird things going on. There were some weird like shows, people taking big risks. It was like the height of like I just go back to Garden State. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. It's got Natalie Portman.
yeah.
Like the
Garden
music
State.
was a character in that show. Like the music was a big thing in that show, in that movie. And it also had this kind of weird like silent undertone and not a lot was being said. And I kind of feel that with this show a little bit where it's kind of like, it's kind of quiet, but things are happening. Of course, then a lot of things end up happening at the end of this show.
Yeah.
Like a lot,
A
like
lot.
just like give them robots, and I want them just wherever you could put them, and they did it. But it is, you know what I love about this show, Joe and Joe. You know exactly what I love about the show. There's only 6 episodes. I can do that. I can do it.
Only six.
I can do
Tell
it.
you.
This show is wild. I think I hear everything you went on and on about it, and I'm like, okay, I see why you love it, and I think I can. I think I could get down on this show, like for real. But it is. It is wild. This is this is what I think of when I think of anime. Like not knowing anything about it, like okay, there is some awkward.
Like when you try to explain anime, this is what
Yeah,
people
yeah.
are
Like
thinking it is.
they go, are there robots? I go, yeah. It's like, is there
Yeah,
a girl with pink hair? I'm like, yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Do they have some weird things going on? And is there a perverted old man in there? Yeah, there's that too.
yeah.
Though it has all the like the tropes, but it also is nothing like anime. Like there was at the end of the credits, there's like a scene, like they're just kind of like the credits
Yeah,
scrolling, and there's like like an actual footage of somebody just like riding a scooter, like first person
yeah.
perspective.
Real quick about that. That is actually the director Tsurumaki's. That's
Oh
his
my
scooter.
gosh, dude,
Like that's his
he's
actual scooter
like.
that he had bought during that time, and they had like just went out and
You know
did
what this
shots
is
of
like?
it.
It's like he was like an art student, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna make an anime as an art student, and it was just like,
He had a
yeah,
project
yeah.
due that he had his professor told him they needed to make an anime for the final project,
That's
and this is what he
exactly
came
what
up
it
with.
is, dude. That's exactly what this is. Dude, it's an art project. That's what this is. This is an art project. That's what we watched. You can hang this up over at the MoMA in New York and they'd be like, "Wow, you know what? It's the duality of man."
Is this a Banksy?
It is. This is where everybody's all like I drew inspiration from Fooly Cooley. This is Banksy would go, yeah, I drew inspiration from Fooly Cooley,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
this is wild. This is a wild show, man. I Can we get some guac talk? You want some guac for this talk?
Man, I
We
think
guac
we've been
talking.
walk
I'm
talking
watching
this
it.
whole
I'm gonna
time.
watch it. It's gonna be easy. It's gonna go down weird. Like I'm gonna eat it and I'm like, that tasted weird. But then I'm like,
It
but it's
tasted.
pretty good though, right? And then
Yeah.
I think,
It's trying a new
yeah, it
food for the
really is.
first
It's
time.
like, hey, you know what? Do you like sushi? And you're like, I don't know. Do I like fish? Maybe. This is salty,
Maybe.
sweet, and strange? Yeah, but also pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. I'm watching it.
Watching it. Boom. There you have it, guys. That is our episode. Let us know what you thought about Fully Cooley whenever you watched it. Let us know what you. Let us
Let
know.
us know everything.
Yeah, let us know everything. Let us know what went through your mind. Let us know if you understand it. Tell us
What did
what
we
Fully
miss,
Cooley
dude? Because
is
there
to
was
you
some
guys.
stuff that happened, and I'm like, what does that mean? What is this? Who is that? What's an ironing?
Dude, I'll tell you, if you like, when you go through and look at the threads on this show, people have all sorts of like, oh, this means this. Well, this is this. It's so many
I
like fan
mean,
theories and discussions. Dude, we could go
that
all day
you
on
hit you hit it on the head. It's like this is an art project. So like there's got to be some things in there that happen that are just like, this is just art being art, man.
Art being art. That's what
Hmm.
this is.
Hmm.
All right. Well, yeah, just leave us those comments. Let us know. Also, follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Anime Meepaw, where we post clips and stuff about our upcoming episodes. And drop comments on there too for us to let us know what animes you're excited about. Once again, they're coming out this year. And let us know if there's any anime movies too that you want to watch, because I feel like we can get some more
I
movies
think
in this
so. I
year.
mean, they drop one a day, so I'm pretty sure we could find.
Drop one a day. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you on the next one.
Layers.
Peace.